LoSasso. You want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
I've been at St. Augustine for the past 4 years. I've been a lifelong educator, retired from the public school system. I taught at Hamilton for 13 years and became an administrator in various schools in South Jersey. Retiring out of Riverside High School in Burlington County, there was an opportunity to come teach here at St. Augustine, and I was very lucky to get that position. My son is a graduate. I really enjoyed and liked what he was afforded here, and just to have the opportunity to be back in the classroom helping young people develop thoughts, ideas, ways to express it, to get them to become active in the community, to me is very important.
What would be the most rewarding aspect of your job here at St. Augustine?
Is when a student gets it, who may be struggling, and then all of a sudden that switch goes off and they get it, or a student, we're having a class discussion, who really hasn't participated all year, and all of a sudden there's that one topic that sparks an interest, and that they then come up and they say something where they took everything that we've worked with and processed it and used their thinking ability, their ability to reason, to come up with an answer. We had it a couple of weeks ago when we called the science class. That's what is rewarding, when those type of things happen. Anyone can memorize an answer. It's the ability to take information, process it, and then develop an opinion. That's what is very important to see that happen.
If you don't mind sharing the toughest aspect of your job here at St. Augustine.
You probably know this better than others, having a classroom as well as playing for me, is when a young person does not use the talents that they were given. And some people want to know why I'm demanding this. I believe that an educator's responsibility is to make sure that a student athlete uses the talents that they were given and use them to their fullest. And that's the most challenging thing, because there are a lot of bright students that I've come in contact with throughout my career as well as here that don't utilize that. And sometimes they'll pick it up 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But I feel that as the biggest challenge that I've ever had as an educator is getting that person to utilize all their talents. It's a struggle to do that, but it's frustrating, and obviously that's my biggest obstacle.
If you could just explain to us a little bit about what your typical day is.
Very simple. I'm a creature of habit. I wake every day at about 5:30. Get ready, come to school, prepare for the day. There's the classroom interaction after school, work, complete activities, begin to plan for the next day. But it's more of what I do outside, because then I go home, I do something that I enjoy. I relax a little bit. It's like I cook. I like to cook. So at that point I can relax. When it's nice out, I get on a couple acres of ground, get on the tractor, I mow the lawn, and it's, as I joke with people, it's where I solve all the world's problems, because nobody can say no. So that's basically my day.
I'm sure you've read plenty of books being a history guy, but if you could pick one book, what would be your favorite?
I'm going to be a coward. I'm going to give you 3 books. History would be Truman. It was just an unbelievable book. What it talked about and his struggles. Sports-wise, it was When Pride Still Mattered, because it talked about an era that I grew up in, and it's gone. And comedy in life was 700 Sundays. It's Billy Crystal's autobiography, and the title 700 Sundays is the number of Sundays Billy Crystal had his father. His dad died when he was a teenager, and it was said he counted on that where he had him for 700 Sundays. And that is an inspiring book that I think every son should read, because it makes you think about different things. But I didn't have to read reading. So I'm sorry I gave you 3 instead of 1.
So the students in your class, they know you're an excellent teacher, but something outside the classroom that we might not know, some of your talents or hobbies.
One would be cooking, as I said before. I love to cook. If I did not teach, I always joke about this, I'd love to open another steak shop and do things of that nature, because I just enjoy doing it and trying different things. I also love growing on a farm, so it's in my blood, gardening, and that's the other thing that I enjoy doing, because it's both of them. You're a piece of yourself, and you're doing what you want to do, and you can control it in some sense. I know farming you don't, but when you have your little garden, you can control it yourself. You can water, make sure everything gets done properly. And I know some of you would laugh to see me in the kitchen making potted gravy, and the Clemens and the Godfather throwing the meatballs and the Brazil and the sausage, and they're doing it the right way.
Going through your educational career, when was it that you knew you wanted to be a teacher?
I was very young, and I had 2 cousins, older, my mother's first cousins, who are both retired, and one's passed away, but they both were educators and they were teachers. And I was little, I did not realize, I knew they were coaches. I knew one was the head football coach, one was the head wrestling coach. I didn't realize they taught. And when I finally figured it out at 7 or 8, is when I said, I want to do what they do, because I've always loved athletics. And I think athletics is what pushed me. I've known that, I was probably junior high. Have I digressed and tried other things? Yes. But it always came back to teaching, and that's something important. You hear different things about callings. Maybe that was my calling, was to be an educator and coach. And I'm passionate about it. I can remember, and this is going to sound corny, I can remember as a kid working with the younger kids in the neighborhood about the right way to hit a baseball or the right way to throw a football. I mean, I've always done that type of thing. I just enjoy doing it. It's fun, and when you get older, as I always say, it's almost addictive when you're being a coach of the excitement, especially when you diagram something and it works the way it's supposed to. And that's, you asked earlier about enjoyment, that's the greatest enjoyment. When you provide a plan, and then a group of young people, 16 to 18, can carry that plan out and make it work. That's when you know that you're a success. I mean, and that's it. It's watching young people come back and saying, who they are. I taught a young man who now is a partner who was really on his law firm in New York. I had nothing to do with it, but in my mind, that I taught him for 2 years and coached him in football and baseball, that hopefully something I said to him helped him become something like that. And that's the enjoyment, and that's the reward of teaching. So I've always known that. Basically, always knew I wanted to teach. Did I try different things? Yes, but I always went back to teaching.
If you could give us somebody you would look up to, like a hero or a role model, who would that be?
It's a tough question, because it would vary. I think I was blessed in my lifetime to be surrounded by great people, and there's a belief that the more people as a young person you're surrounded with quality, you're going to become a quality person, and see that around this place. The number of students are quality people. I mean, it's cliche, it's my parents, my grandparents, but if I had to pick someone who I was not associated with, someone who was out there, people like Harry Truman, Vincent Martin, to read some of the things that they talked about and apply it to everyday life would be something I'd want to. John Wood, another individual. But closer to home, because of parents, a neighbor I had as a kid fought with the British in World War II. So a lot of things I still use, his cliches that he said. I mean, it's just small little things like that I don't know if they weren't really heroes, but in their own little way, they made everything fall into place for me.
If you don't mind, just giving us a little insight on your family life.
My immediate family, my wife's Eleanor, my son Justin, he teaches here, and that's our little family. But I have a very large family. My grandfather, my father's side was one of 15, and so we have that family that we're pretty close to. And on my mother's side, people laugh at us. There are 8 of us that live on one piece of property, and we call it the compound. So it was great growing up. We were all together. That's one of the things. All the holidays were together. Functions were together. On Sundays in the summertime, we just make a phone call. People come over, or we go over to their house. It's just that family is a very important part of my life, and I think it's important for everybody that there should be that time where you can spend that quality time. So I enjoy that.
With the holidays coming up, would you like to share your Christmas traditions that you have with your family or friends?
We, on Christmas Eve, do the traditional Italian 7-fish dinner. It's something that I grew up in, and I thought it was important that we continue to do that. So we will start, we'll have a house full of people, and we go through the 7 fishes. It's something that, to me, it's fun. I can remember doing it as a kid. We would go to my grandparents, and my grandfather's favorite holiday was Christmas. And it was, outside of the religious aspect of it, it was a time when family went there. They weren't the richest people in the world, but for some reason the entire family went to my grandparents, nephews and nieces. And we played this silly card game, 7½. It's like blackjack, but it's 7½. There's no high cards in it. And you only played it on Christmas Eve. I don't know why, but that was it. And we enjoyed it. As kids, we couldn't wait to roll up to sit at the table and play the silly card game, 7½. But it's something I always think back and I always remember, and I just want to continue that tradition because I think it's something, again, brings the family together.